Planning a trip to Argentina, but not sure where to start when it comes to picking the places that you'd like to visit? I got you, boo, because in today's video, I am breaking down the 4 places that you need to visit in Argentina, plus what to see and do in each destination. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Allie, and on my channel, I help overpacking, luxury-loving, independent women turn their bucket list travel dreams into reality with the help of my mom and luxury travel advisor, Linda, who will be popping in with her recommendations in just a bit. Everyone loves Linda, and she is back. Guys, in today's episode, we are traveling to Argentina, which is one of the most awe-inspiring destinations in South America. Now, my goal with my brand new Abroad at Home bucket list video series is really to just get you inspired and give you all the info that you might need in order to start dreaming of and planning for your next great escape, once it is safe to do so, of course. And if you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed and you introduce yourself in the comments below. And if you missed last week's episode, I covered everything that you need to know before you visit Argentina. So if you missed it, be sure to check that out. I always forget, I'm gonna put it somewhere up here. Cool? Oh, and one last little announcement before we dive in. I am going to be launching mother-daughter group travel trips later on this year in collaboration with my mom's travel agency, Scorby Travel and Cruise. So if you want to stay in the loop on future trips, find out where we're going, and get your name on the waiting list, I am dropping a link in the description below for you to sign up. Cool? First on our list is Argentina's capital city of Buenos Aires, affectionately referred to as the Paris of South America. Located on the eastern coast of the country, Buenos Aires is one of Latin America's most important port cities, and it's a blend of French, Italian, and Spanish cultures. This cosmopolitan city was actually modeled after Paris and Madrid, and the tree-lined cobblestone streets are filled with cute cafes, parks, and boutiques. Now, there is truly so much to see and do in this city that really perfectly blends old with new, and definitely knows a thing or two about a long and leisurely 3-hour lunch. Buenos Aires is a destination that is really meant to be savored in every sense of the word. So make sure that you give yourself at least 3 to 4 days to explore. Many first-timers think of 3 things when they think of Buenos Aires: tango, steak, and wine. We'll call it like the tourist trifecta. And while these are all very important things to experience, I'm gonna share some of my favorite recommendations on top of these classics. Cool? All right, so to me, experiencing a tango show is truly essential. And in my opinion, there is absolutely no better show than the one at the Faena Hotel. Now, traditionalists will tell you that this show isn't real tango, but I found it to be flashy, fun, modern, and super intimate because you're in this like tiny room and the dancers are literally like this close. They're dancing on your table. It's amazing. One of my favorite things to do during the day was just wandering through some of the various barrios, aka neighborhoods. Now, make sure that you check out the La Boca barrio if you love colorful buildings. This is also where you might run into my friend Guillermo, who is this artist that actually paints pictures with his feet while he does the tango. You literally can't make this stuff up, you guys. And he totally put the moves on me and Linda. Yeah. Next, pop over to Buenos Aires' largest barrio, Palermo, which is also known for just being this chic destination for foodies, art lovers, and shopaholics, so you guys know I was at home there. I could have spent hours just wandering up and down the boutique-lined streets that were covered in these colorful murals. But let me also share some actual recommendations so that you know what to look out for when you are visiting. Make sure to head to Plaza Serrano, and from there, honestly, just pick a street and wander up and down, popping in and out of shops. Once you are done shopping, which will take a few hours, by that point in time, you've probably worked up an appetite, so I would grab lunch at Casa Cavia, which is this 1927 mansion that was restored and turned into a shop slash restaurant slash cocktail spot, and it is beyond chic. I am going to attempt to properly pronounce this name, but make sure that you make a trip over to El Ateneo Grand Splendid, which was named the world's most beautiful bookstore by Nat Geo, and I have to say that I agree. Finally, I'd finish off your day with a drink before dinner at Floreria Atlantico, which is this super cool speakeasy that's a flower shop on top, and then you walk through this like refrigerator door and down some stairs, and it takes you into this cozy little bar. Also, heads up, Argentinians eat very late. Like typical dinner is around 9 p.m. on the early side. So just do keep that in mind when you're making reservations. And if you want to know more about the culture, some of the basics about visiting Argentina and what you need to know before you go, make sure that you check out my video on everything you need to know before you visit. I'm gonna link it up top here. Cool? Because we started and ended our trip in Buenos Aires, we actually got to experience 2 different hotels, both of which I would highly recommend. First is the Four Seasons Buenos Aires, which is located in the heart of the Recoleta neighborhood, which is one of the city's most sophisticated and historic neighborhoods. When we were there, the hotel had just gone through an incredible redesign, and everything was modern, fresh, and totally up to date. Service, as is expected with Four Seasons, was exceptional, and the rooms were luxurious, and ours even looked out on this beautiful mansion, which is actually a part of the hotel. On the opposite end of the design spectrum is the Faena Buenos Aires. This super modern and sexy hotel was once a storage mill located in the Puerto Madero neighborhood. Now, I hope that you like the color red because the hotel is covered in it. Like every element of design is really over the top, which is totally my vibe, and there's a pool, 2 restaurants, and a bar. Plus, this is the location of that tango show that I was telling you about earlier, so super convenient. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is that this hotel is about a 20-minute drive outside of the city center, so do keep that in mind if location is very important to you. Now, I'm gonna bring in my luxury travel advisor / Mama Linda, and she's gonna share some of her suggestions on what to do in Buenos Aires.
Perhaps the most famous area to visit in Buenos Aires is Cementerio de la Recoleta in Barrio Norte. This is considered to be one of the most beautiful cemeteries in the world. This graveyard houses some of Argentina's most elite citizens, founding fathers, heroes, well-off families, displaying their wealth with elaborate tombs and mausoleums, and of course, the famous Eva Evita Perón. Florales Generica is an amazing sculpture. Argentine sculptor Eduardo Catalano erected this giant aluminum and steel flower in 2002. At 105 feet wide, the flower blooms every morning and closes every evening. Each 43-foot long petal reflects the shimmering waters that are directly below, as well as the surrounding city. So, Jardin Botanico. I shouldn't admit this, but Allie and I wanted to go to these botanical gardens, not only to enjoy the beautiful trees and flowers, which Linda always enjoys, but also to feed the population of stray felines that were supposed to frequent the park. Unfortunately, Linda hadn't properly researched, and the feline population had actually been relocated elsewhere. We only saw one, but the gardens themselves were absolutely beautiful and so worth the visit. And now here's a building, Teatro Colón. This occupies an entire city block, and it's an impressive 7-story theater, one of Buenos Aires' most prominent landmarks. It's the city's main performing arts venue, and within its astounding acoustics, it's a world-class forum for opera, ballet, and classical music. Now, I highly recommend taking the time to do a 50-minute backstage tour to view its interior costume department, ballerina's dressing room, and really learn more about the history of the theater. Buenos Aires is just a pulsating, passionate, cosmopolitan city that is surely worthy of a visit.
Next, we're headed down south to the vast and super remote region of Patagonia. This part of South America is actually split between Argentina and Chile, with the Andes Mountains kind of acting like the natural divide. However, the largest portion of Patagonia, like 90% of it, is in Argentina. Now, this is where you come to seriously explore and experience wildlife, hike, and trek over glaciers. The number one thing you absolutely must do while you are here is see glaciers at Los Glaciares National Park, which I know sounds boring, but I promise you it is anything but. Now, the real star of the show is the electric blue Perito Moreno Glacier, which stretches 3 miles wide and 240 feet tall. And really what makes this glacier truly remarkable is, unlike most glaciers in the world, it is actually growing. And if you're patient, you'll be able to see the glacier calving, which is basically like you watch as massive chunks of ice fall off into the water, creating this like bone rattling, roaring sound. I have never heard anything like this before in my life. There are plenty of viewing options, really depending on how you'd like to experience the glacier. You can see it from a boat on one side, or these viewing platform areas on the other side, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can slap on some crampons and take a trekking tour where you literally walk along the glacier. Outside of hiking and adventuring, the town of El Calafate has a great main street area that has shops and restaurants and this little market where like local artists sell their goods. And really, outside of dining at your hotel, this is likely where you will come for most all of your meals. I recommend basing yourself in El Calafate, which is situated on the southwest part of the Santa Cruz province. From here, the drive to the Perito Moreno Glacier is about an hour and a half. We stayed at Imago Hotel and Spa, which is this rustic hotel that overlooks the lake. The rooms were comfortable and breakfast was complimentary. Plus, what I really liked about this hotel is that it runs a shuttle service to and from downtown, which is just honestly super convenient. Now, if you're looking to ball out, I would recommend looking into Iolo Hotel. This hotel is surrounded by vast, expansive plains and is actually situated on the land where the first Creole and European immigrants of the area initially set foot. Plus, it's like conveniently located halfway between El Calafate and Los Glaciares National Park. Now, Linda's coming back and she's gonna tell you about a really cool excursion that we did on one of the days while we were in Patagonia.
Now, there's another glacier we have to talk about, and that's Uppsala. Taking the crown as the largest glacier in the entire South American continent, Uppsala is 37 miles long and 230 feet high. Sadly though, this glacier is like all of the others. It's retreating at an alarming rate. So I have to say, try to visit sooner rather than later, or it might no longer be there. You know, Alle mentioned the vast number of accommodations that are available to visitors to El Calafate. Now the one I'm about to mention, Estancia Cristina, it's really not easy to get to, and it never has been. The main focus here are the activities, and boy are there options. Trekking, 4x4ing, boat trips, fishing, horseback riding, to name a few. With their access to some of the remotest parts of the national park, you'll visit nearby waterfalls, canyons, ice fields, lagoons. When we were there, we trekked through Fossil Canyon, where you can see incredible views of Uppsala Glacier. I honestly felt as if I was on an expedition on the surface of Mars. To give you more of a greater perspective, there are no roads to get into Estancia Cristina. The only way to get there is by boat, and it's a 30-mile journey across the beautiful blue waters of Lago Argentina. Now let me contrast vividly what it would have been like in 1913 when the English immigrants Joseph and Jessie Masters came with their 11-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter aboard the rudimentary steamship to land in this never-before-seen wilderness and be dropped off and left to create a working estancia from scratch. When they arrived here in 1913, there were 0 buildings, no infrastructure whatsoever in the area, only the Uppsala Glacier to keep them company. The historical aspect of the estancia and the Masters family, it's unparalleled. It's utterly unique.
We're gonna head back north and switch up the climate to less ice and more humidity for our next destination, which is Puerto Iguazu, which is actually the gateway city to Iguazu Falls. Located in the northeast corner of the country, Iguazu Falls actually straddles Argentina and Brazil and is located in a large national park. The area itself is mostly a rainforest and is home to thousands of various plants, animals, and birds. It kind of goes without saying, but people really come to Puerto Iguazu with one thing on their minds. Sing it with me now. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Sorry, I had to. So if you haven't already guessed, you come to this part of Argentina to see the awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping Iguazu Falls, which have actually been named one of the new natural wonders of the world and basically are this chain of hundreds of epic waterfalls. I would say that you need at least 2 full days and 3 nights to experience this massive natural attraction, because I firmly believe that you should see the falls from both the Brazilian and the Argentinian sides, devoting a day to explore each of the sides. I say this because the viewing experience is totally different, and honestly there's like this little rivalry between which side has the better views, and I just think that you need to determine that for yourself. But do just keep in mind that if you are visiting from the US, you will need a visa in order to visit the Brazilian side of the falls, but I gotta say that it is 1000% worth it. I'm gonna start with the Argentinian side of the falls, where you will have the choice of walking the superior and inferior circuits, as well as the Devil's Throat excursion. Now, you can easily do all of the above if you have an entire day to spend here, and each of these walkways kind of offers just like a slightly different view of the falls. If you're feeling adventurous and don't mind getting absolutely soaking wet, then you should definitely book the Great Adventure Tour, which is essentially like a scenic boat ride that takes you and 40 of your closest friends to the famous Devil's Throat waterfall and gets you just close enough to the falls to get you drenched. It's fun, but just make sure that you have something like a waterproof phone case or a bag to protect all of your stuff from getting soaking wet. Over on the Brazilian side of the falls, you only have one option when it comes to a trail, and you'll find many viewpoints along the way. But in my opinion, I think the best view is all the way at the end, where the trail kind of like dumps you out to this like panoramic viewing area with views of the Devil's Throat and also the falls on the Argentina side. But no matter what side of the falls you are on, you are guaranteed to come across these little guys called coatis, which basically are kind of like a distant relative of a raccoon, and they are so stinking cute, but they do not mess around when it comes to food, so admire them from a safe distance or prepare to get bitten, my friend. I gotta be honest, that aside from the falls, there's really not a whole lot happening here, so aside from spending time chasing waterfalls, you'll mostly find yourself probably chilling at your hotel, which actually perfectly leads me into my next section. We stayed at a 5-star property called Loy Suites Iguazu, which is conveniently only 15 minutes away from the falls and tucked away into this lush rainforest and set on the river's edge. Now, this property really felt like it was built to honor and blend in with the natural beauty of the rainforest. Last but certainly not least, my fourth and absolute most favorite destination is Mendoza, which is Argentina's wine region. You'll find Mendoza in the northwest part of the country, boasting 330 days of sunshine and a temperate desert-like climate. This destination is truly a wine lover's paradise. And while, yes, you could spend days upon days bopping around to the various wineries, also known as bodegas, Mendoza honestly runs the gamut when it comes to offering both relaxing and totally extreme activity options like whitewater rafting, parasailing, and hiking. But I'll mostly be covering the relaxing things to do here. Okay. Now when it comes to wine, Mendoza is often referred to as one of the 9 wine capitals in the world, along with Napa and Tuscany and Bordeaux. You will absolutely want to give yourself plenty of time and also arrange for a driver to take you to some of the top wineries, which I'm going to let Linda tell you more about right now because really she is the wine expert / snob of the bunch.
Mendoza is subdivided into 5 main wine regions. I'm going to cover just a few of these. Maipu is by far the warmest area in Mendoza and has the lowest elevation in this wine region at 2,300 feet. Now you can expect wines that have more body and alcohol with powerful tannins and very, very fruity in style. Now another well-known district is Lujan de Cuyo, which comprises several wine districts. These wines are complex and have more acidity due to their higher elevation in this region. I'm going to spend the majority of my time talking about the Uco Valley. The Uco Valley has breathtaking views and premium wines. Now the vineyards lie literally at the foothills of the Andes Mountains with elevations of up to 5,200 feet. Because of the altitude, the temperatures are cooler. The wines are going to have high acidity and they're intense and powerful on the palate. Malbec is undoubtedly the star of this region. There are still quite extensive plantings of Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Syrah, Sauvignon Blanc. Now I'm going to talk about a winery called Bodega Salentín. Salentín Winery is easily one of the most impressive wineries to visit. The estate is at the heart of the Uco Valley, and it is structured with some of the most striking modern architecture in all of Argentina. The bodega has been dubbed the wine cathedral due to the interior building structure being that of a Greek-inspired amphitheater. Besides being such a showcase winery in terms of architecture and style, Salentín has an art gallery, sculpture garden, 2 restaurants, a chapel, and a 16-room hotel called Posada Salentín. Now the other winery I'd like to speak to you about is Corazon del Sol, which means heart of the sun. Corazon del Sol crafts captivating Malbec and Grenache-based wines that capture the best of Argentina's high-altitude terroir. Their winemaker, Santiago Archival, crafts their wines from his plantings of Malbec, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. These are planted at an elevation of 3,000 feet, and only 17 acres of vineyard are planted at this boutique winery. But here the rocky soils result in wines of great complexity and finesse.
We stayed at Casa de Uco Vineyards and Wine Resort, which is by far one of my favorite hotels that we stayed at during the trip. The eco-friendly hotel is located in the Uco Valley, which is about 75 miles south of Mendoza, out in the middle of nowhere, and has incredible views of the Andes Mountains. The hotel is modern in style and stands out against the rugged background. The rooms are comfy, and if a bungalow is in your budget, it comes with a rooftop jacuzzi. Score! But honestly, what makes this property so exceptional is the laundry list of activities offered to its guests and the strange, mind-reading ability of the staff to know exactly what you're in the mood for. Two of the most memorable experiences that Linda and I had were first blending our own bottle of wine with the winery's winemaker. At the end, you're able to name your bottle of wine and bottle it up so that you can take it home, and I still have yet to open mine, so maybe tonight is the night. Yeah. The second incredible experience is to ride out on horseback through the vineyards to this secret spot on property and have a little picnic set up with the Andes Mountains in the background. It was jaw-droppingly beautiful. I mean, the hotel packs you this little basket with little sandwiches and snacks, and it was just a fun way to spend an afternoon. And honestly, I just can't say enough about Casa de Uco. Stay here. Oh my gosh, it is a must. Guys, look, we are together. I had to end the video with Linda by my side, and I'm just curious, has this video maybe inspired you to visit Argentina, or maybe was it something that was already on your list before and now you even know about more destinations? So just let us know what you're thinking in the comments below.
Now, if you'd like to have a travel advisor help you out with organizing and planning your trip to Argentina or anywhere else in the world, my agency, Scorby Travel and Cruise, is happy to assist. Allie's gonna put the link to the Scorby Travel and website right in the video.
In the description of the video.
Oh my God!
So if you found this video helpful, make sure that you give it a thumbs up or maybe leave some love in the comments. And if you want even more virtual adventures similar to this one, you can subscribe so that you don't miss where we are traveling in next week's video, which is gonna be Croatia. But if you can't wait until then and you just need to consume all of the travel content, from here until eternity, make sure that you check out these videos right here. And until next time, guys, mwah, peace. What were you gonna say?
I was trying to say something in Spanish and I couldn't remember.
Adios.
I was gonna say buenos.
Adios is what you were looking for.
That's what I was looking for.